Welcome to Live Road Talk Show, CRUZE. Have you ever wanted to get to know influential business people up close and in person?
Have you ever wondered what it feels like to be at the top of the business world?
Do you want to start a business in Korea?
Then CRUZE is the show for you.
If you want to join in on our live broadcast, go to our CRUZE Facebook page.
Don't forget, if you want to keep updated, you have to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel, My Own TV.
You guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's go for CRUZE.
Hello, beautifuls.
Good morning.
There are so many cameras
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
in this car.
7, 8. Awesome.
So for those of us joining us who don't know who we are, let's do a little round of introductions.
Perfect.
Hello everyone, I'm Cha. I'm the driver for CRUZE.
And that's it?
That's okay, I'm English. But you'll learn more about me if you keep joining to live chats. But
Exactly.
I'm assuming a lot of people will know a little bit about me by now, I'm sure.
And my name is Happy. Hello, everybody. And I'm from Canada. But my parents are from Hong Kong, so I'm not Korean. And that's all for me. And our main MC.
Hello, I'm Todd Sample, and I am originally from the US, but I've been in Korea for 20 years. So I feel like this is my home, and I'm really excited about being on this program right now.
This is the first episode.
This is the first episode. I'm very excited to get this first guest on because
Our guest,
He's
that's
an
right.
Englishman.
I guess he is an Englishman, right?
so I can maybe I can relate a little bit to him.
We're gonna grill him today, right?
We're gonna grill him.
British.
Yeah, it's
How British is it?
It's going to be a tough interview. I think he's going to be sweating a little bit.
It's gonna be so tough.
I mean, like, he has to be pretty British to be the CEO of the British Chamber of Commerce
Right?
of Korea, right?
He must know a lot of things about Britain and Korea.
So we are headed now to Hanam-dong, where we are going to pick up our first guest, the inaugural guest on CRUZE.
Yes, and we are currently driving over the Bampo Bridge, which is also known as the Bampo Rainbow Bridge. It has the Bampo Rainbow Lights show. If you've ever been to Korea, you know, everyone has seen it.
Oh.
Now, Happy, I'm wondering where all these people on our live chat from. Where is everyone from, guys?
Where is everybody from? Manchester, England.
Manchester.
We've got a USA, California, Katie Nguyen, or Nguyen, or Nguyen. I don't know how to pronounce that last name, I'm sorry. And Oslo, Norway.
Wow, great.
And a Kerry Glenn from USA.
Oh, hello.
So yeah, we're headed to Hanam-dong to pick up our first, I guess we can say his name right now.
Sean Blakely.
Sean Blakeley is our first
Sean
guest.
Blakely.
And it's really nice that Sean is our first guest. In addition to being the CEO of BCCK, which is the British Chamber of Commerce in Korea, he's also actually a really good friend of mine. So it'll be nice to have a good bud right next to me in the backseat of our nice black sedan here, driving through the streets of Seoul and getting to know a little bit more about him.
Just a little chit chat between friends today.
That's
Yeah, little friendly chat.
That's my poor
Little bit of banter.
imitation of a British
A
accent.
little bit of banter. Yeah, we got to do some British accents later. That'll be very fun.
Really?
Yeah, good at good.
Wow, that's not even English at that point.
Yeah, well...
We got really quickly. There's like hardly any traffic. It's beautiful. The weather is shining. The sun is shining. It's beautiful weather. Hardly any traffic. But Itaewon is a very foreigner-dense community.
It's pretty much expat town.
It's
Pretty much expat town.
And it's been that way for a long time, actually. It's over 100 years. So, this part of Seoul has been kind of the foreign center of the city.
Wow,
But
100
it hasn't
years.
always been American, though. It was once Chinese. There was a Chinese
Oh.
back in the day.
This? Oh, look at these houses.
Yeah, there's some nice houses up
Look at these houses.
Hey, hello. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good. Are you coming to open the door for me?
Welcome to CRUZE.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
You ready to get going?
I am ready to get going.
Okay.
Get to work. So.
Sounds good. Let's get going.
Okay.
Hello!
Hello.
Morning, guys.
Oh.
Good
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. George.
Firm handshake.
Hello. Okay.
Good. Let's make sure the camera's on you.
Just make sure everything's good.
All right.
Oh,
So
no.
are you excited?
Very excited. Although it depends how the driver's going to drive.
So you've been in your new position for, well, not so new anymore. It's almost
Yeah.
six months?
Correct. So it's actually completed 6 and now up to 7.
Okay.
So, you know, if you're British, you'll be familiar with some high street brands that are not in the Korean market. And those guys, they want to come in. 10, 15 years ago, everyone was looking at Japan. You know, everyone looks at China because it's a huge population. But Korea, you know, it's quite small, 46 million people. But actually now the power of Korea is beyond just Korea. So if you are a UK fashion brand and you do well here in Korea, then that may influence how you do in Southeast Asia or in other Asian markets.
Okay, so how many British companies are doing business in Korea now?
So we have, it's in several hundreds.
Wow.
So I think it's 600 and something.
600.
But
Wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting that big.
But
Okay,
that's it.
okay.
Andrew, let's start this show by getting to know a little bit more about Sean, a personal.
The Sean game. Sean
Sean
Blakeley game.
game.
I did look you up on a popular, you know, professional job linking site.
Yes.
And I did look at your history, employment history. You came out of university, started working for Northern Electric.
yeah.
It's managing like a takeover for GE
Yeah.
or something like that. And then suddenly, bam, you're in Korea. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah. So it's actually really rather fortuitous. So I basically graduated at Leeds University, got into a typical kind of sort of graduate job, but rather dry, doing that, helping with in a team where we were creating databases to aggregate departments. You're already bored listening, right?
Yeah,
so I was
right.
bored as well. So, and that was me at about the age of about 24.
Okay, wow.
And then I thought, you know, I could stay here for 10 years and keep going up.
Yeah,
I
sure.
think the money would not be bad, the job's not that bad, stay local to where I live. But then I thought, you know, I always had a bit of that travel bug in me. So
Okay.
my father left England when he was 17 on a bicycle and returned 25 years later.
Okay.
That's a story of itself. Like,
I couldn't. You know, I think we're beyond the days where you can, where you really want to buy a bicycle and head away for 25 years. But
Yeah,
I bought
sure.
an airplane ticket.
Wow.
But I'm a bit unusual because until the age of 9, I actually lived in Spain. So
Okay.
I grew up near Barcelona. My parents are both British but very internationalized.
Okay.
Father speaks 7 languages. My mother speaks 4. So quite an international mindset. So even though it looks like a big change, actually, compared to my upbringing, it was not so natural that I would at least go and gamble. What was a gamble was why Korea, and that was slightly fortuitous.
Because what year was that you came? Was it 2004 or something?
Yes, it was. You've been doing your research. You're good.
2004.
Yeah, 2004.
Korea must have changed a lot for sure. But like, what was it actually like coming here in 2004?
To be honest, I think one of the way I'd describe it is when I first came to Korea, it felt very grey. It felt quite functional.
Okay.
So, you know, Korea has gone through such rapid development in a short time that a lot of the buildings or the architecture or maybe the finesse of other international cities was somewhat not a priority compared to let's develop and let's functionally create homes for people or buildings for people to work in. So when I first came, Korea felt, I mean, the people were fantastic. It definitely felt that it was a dynamic place, an interesting place to live.
Yeah, sure.
Not very colorful, not that many restaurants, not that many bars, not that many. The lifestyle aspect was not as high.
Bars and was important.
Bars are the second point. I'm glad that was there.
Yeah.
The bars. Yeah.
But actually, what I would say in the last 10 years is that lifestyle for Koreans and for foreigners here has developed a lot.
Right.
There's a lot more to do. It's a lot easier place to live, more internationalized place to live, and that's has made living in Korea, I think, all the better, and actually good for business here as well.
One of our viewers, Alejandra, asks, was it hard for you to adjust between England and
Northern England
and Korea?
One big thing that's changed is there's a lot more interest in foreigners coming here, but also not just living here and working, but learning the culture, the language, and everything else. So I was one of those guys, and then I learned the language, did my master's here in international relations, actually on North Korea. So I've learned the language for about 4.5 years. Yeah, and then
4.5 years.
4.5 years.
correct.
But you've been here since 2004.
But full time,
Oh,
like
full-time,
learning.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Look at
That's
you
like-
being all judgmental.
Wow, that's a long
How long have
time.
you been here, sir? How many years have you studied?
2.5 years? Is that it? No, is that it?
Yeah, full time. So like full time language and then full time masters.
So you'd recommend full-time study of Korean to get to properly grasp?
Yeah. I think if you,
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
example,
sure.
if you want to be able to write a report in Korean or a thesis in
Oh,
Korean,
I don't
yeah,
want to do
no.
that. No, okay, don't worry, guys. Don't worry. We're not
you
we're
don't
not
need
that
to
kind
do
of show.
that.
We're not like-
We do have another very interesting question from Jessica Elizondo. So she knows that Koreans are accepting of foreigners who try to assimilate into society. However, she also knows that there are exceptions. If there was any case of discrimination for you, what was the worst? Or what was kind of the worst that you've seen personally? And I guess balance it back out with the kindness that you
Yeah, if I compare how positive people react to me as opposed to negative, I mean, it's literally uncomparable. Because, you know, whether I get into a taxi in the morning, or, you know, the first thing people ask me is usually, oh, why do you speak Korean? Where are you from? And then if you say Yeongguk, they say, oh, 신사의 나라. You know, like
Yeah.
country of gentlemen.
Oh!
Shinsa?
I'm not claiming to be a
angel.
gentleman.
Okay.
That would be for others to judge. But
Neither is
but,
Bak Mokja, so that's okay.
But I think that the main thing about Korea is that if you show a willingness to adapt even a little or
That's right,
speak
that's
even
right.
a little,
That's right.
people are very positive.
Yeah,
if you
very
compare it to the UK, your English has to be almost flawless.
Oh, yes.
People really start commenting on, and even if they comment, it's presumed that your English should be flawless.
Right, right.
In Korea, you know, 인사만 해도 다 이렇게 박수하는 거죠.
맞아.
Even if you just say hello, people will clap. So
Yeah.
I think, you know, there is a feeling here of warmth if you can just show a little bit of inclination.
Like if you
to-
try.
Yeah, try.
Right? Even if your Korean is terrible, if you try.
Right.
Well, exactly. Yes.
Alejandro would like to know, a personal question, what is your favorite dish in Korea?
My favorite dish, chukumi.
Chukumi.
What's that?
Really?
I would not have guessed.
I don't know what that is.
The squids, right? The cuttlefish?
Oh, the baby
baby
squids, right.
squids
Oh, the little
that
ones?
are extremely spicy, and you get them then. So I think it's not everyone's go-to food.
No, it's
And
not.
it's not something that I have every day because it's extremely spicy.
Right.
But actually, after a long day at work where you feel a little bit stressed, having a bit of chukumi and a little bit of soju is
Okay.
Oh,
gets rid of all that
soju.
stress. So
So-
that, I recommend it as long as you're old enough to drink.
Right.
So I have something called buldak.
Buddha. Oh.
Buldak.
No way, you really like all the spicy food.
So
This is
bul is
crazy.
of course
Yeah,
fire,
fire.
tak is
Wow.
chicken, so fire chicken. Yeah. So you have a bit of buldak after you're drinking, and that
Wow.
You know,
clears your head.
you know what it is?
You are a man,
Yeah,
sir.
because
You
the,
are a
the
you are a man.
spiciness releases endorphins because your body's in pain.
Wow.
That's why.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
That's what it is.
Skull
I'm a gentleman. Wow.
Some of our viewers are very interested in well, they know that a lot of people come and they teach English, but I don't know if you have any experience or if you have any knowledge of getting jobs other than that.
You don't necessarily have to become a teacher because once you do that, it can be good to transition from that to something else, but it pigeonholes you a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think you need to come here, think a little bit outside the box, try and get an internship.
Right.
Try and get a low managerial level position that gets you in maybe through marketing or something that doesn't require you to have had 10, 15 years experience.
right.
And we do that ourselves. I mean, we have foreign interns that come. And the reason we do that is we want to give them that first leg up
Yeah, sure.
into another opportunity. But as I guess as a lot of people know, it's not that easy. So the best thing to do is come here, network, try and maybe look for an internship, a sort of smaller position,
Right.
and then build on it. And once you build a local name and reputation, I think you have a much higher chance of then being picked up
That's
by
right.
maybe a multinational or a bigger Korean company.
Sure. So you mentioned networking, and I think the last time I saw you was just last week on Thursday.
Yeah.
BCCK had a really nice,
Thank you.
a
Thank you for
large,
Oh.
successful networking event, right?
He ate a lot of your
That
steak.
food,
Food was really happy with that.
prime
That was you. They told me someone was.
I told you
was
that.
overeating.
steak.
Those are already out.
You've made this. Either that's true, or you've made the same joke today. This is just
It
crazy.
must be true.
It must be true.
Must be true.
No, because we do it the way we do it with the buffet is like 1.1 plate per person, but
Okay.
someone comes in and has 3.6 plates. It just it throws all
Throws
the
all
maths.
their
off.
stuff,
That must have been.
That was
happy.
happy, right?
You know what?
He's no
I'm not going
regrets.
to admit
No
it,
regrets.
but someone ate a lot of strawberry tarts. And someone ate a lot of that beef, that skirts meat. Mm-mm.
So we had an event like 250 people,
Right.
several sponsors, big British companies that help us to do that, because we are not-for-profit. So
Right.
these events are not about making money from the guests
sure.
or from the sponsors. It's about getting to a cost-neutral place so that someone like yourself, so someone like Happy can come and eat nice food, maybe meet a
Finally.
couple of interesting business people that might actually help him in the future to. No, I'm not saying he wants to change jobs. He seems very happy in his current job, being your driving buddy. But if you want to try something else, maybe that's the way to do it. So hopefully, did you have fun?
I had a great time. I have a great time whenever I do networking here. So it was a really good chance to meet some people that I'd heard about, but I hadn't had a chance to meet in person yet. So came home with some really good business cards and connections, and I'm already in touch with some of them actually from.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have your own gig as well, which is very
I do
good.
have my, which we went to. We went to one on Wednesday last week and saw that. But it's nice to.
We have arrived
Wow.
at our destination. First destination.
Bike or road bike? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's great. It's not too bad actually, because although Korea is very hilly.
It's really close to the city center. So you've been here before?
Yeah. So I actually cycled up here before, which is it's a very nice cycle, especially if the weather's nice today with the sky blue. And also for hiking, it's really nice. So you can, Bukhansan is like the main mountain north of the city. I'm sure you've been up there, and it's a very much actually one of my friends who's a politician here told me that Sean, when you go hiking in Korea, that's where business really happens. And at the beginning of the mountain, you're just talking about how you're getting on, how's your day. You go up, it's a bit tougher. You take a rest, you have some water, you get to know each other. People are sweating. You drop a little bit of that kind of awkwardness between you. You get up to the top, you come down, and then you have some makgeolli at the bottom. So you're tired, and you have a little bit of makgeolli. And then some pajeon.
There you go.
And then before you know it, you're best friends, and you've climbed a mountain, so it's healthy. You've made some friends, and you had some great food, and actually that's very much Korean style. Right? That thing I said about someone jumping, it's only a one.
Were you gonna do something about accents and trying to? No. Is that what you're supposed to do anymore?
I don't know.
Okay
I was thinking
then.
about it, but I don't know.
Korea is a country that has many regional dialects. So you learned Pyojuna here in Seoul. In the UK, how many regional dialects are there?
40 or 50?
No kidding.
Would that be right?
Well, let's find out, Sean. Okay, what's the first one?
40. I'm not good at accents.
It was just something for fun.
I was trying to enjoy it then. So you sound a little bit like Gordon Brown to me.
Like a little bit. When you got in the car, I was like, wow.
You talk a lot like Gordon Brown.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I think
Nice compliment, sure.
As long as you don't say I look like Gordon Brown.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with looking like Alf.
Okay.
So we say gun into tune.
Gun into tune.
You know what tune might be?
Tune. No, that's tune.
Town, man.
Town. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, going into 10.
Gun to tune.
Going to 10. Yeah.
Wow, that's not even English at that point.
Yeah, well.
All right, I
You're
can't decide
Canadian.
it. You're right.
You cannot decide anything.
I'm part of the Commonwealth. It counts. You know.
Yeah.
No, you are part of the Commonwealth. I feel
you need
left
to
out
listen.
suddenly.
Oh yeah, two Canadians. Oh, you're American.
I'm American.
Oh,
I'm American.
So so that's one, and then the Yorkshire accent.
Yorkshire, okay.
Is also because I went to Leeds, and they in Yorkshire they don't say two, they say t, right? I went to town.
I went to town. Okay.
To town, and there's and there's lots of others. Liverpool, I'm not so good with. But,
Stephen Gerrard. Stephen Gerrard.
That's all I can say in the
My friends from Liverpool aren't going to be very happy with that, but we have the same as Korean way. We have standard English,
Right.
what we consider the Queen's
Sure,
English,
sure.
as would be spoken maybe on the BBC.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we have the different regional accents. But even on the BBC now, you have a lot more regional accents being used by the announcers there.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh. What about a Scottish accent? Can you do a Scottish accent?
Well, my mother's from Glasgow.
Oh.
Oh, God.
The only one I know is to say something like "Oh hi the new."
Oh, hi, the new.
What?
Oh hi the new.
What's that?
Oh hi the new.
What?
Your face is priceless.
I
You
love
just don't
this.
get it.
What does it mean?
Anton's voice.
For me, the toughest thing in the world is listening to two Scottish people talk to each other and trying to figure out what they're saying.
Yes.
It's really hard.
This is my Scottish accent. Oh dear. That's it.
That's actually quite good.
Oh dear.
That sounds like my grandmother.
Yeah, that's pretty much where it comes from.
British people look at Korea is Korea does it have a strong level of awareness? You mentioned before about Gangnam Style, but that's quite superficial. So does it go deeper than that in terms of just the general awareness of what?
Yeah, I think so.
How much they know.
I think when I first came, the first question, if I told people I was going to Korea, they would ask me north or south.
That's
and
right.
We've all had that, and I think that that's gone away now because people know enough about the north and the south to not confuse it.
Right, sure.
Yeah, unless you happen to work for MI6, and then in which case you might actually be going to the north.
Right.
So that's one thing. I think they know where it is. They know Seoul as a city. They know about the culture now, and a lot of that is because of popular culture like Gangnam Style, or even some of the films here. I think were very successful.
No kidding.
From the last sort of few years. I think a lot of British university students watch. Old Boy.
That's the one.
And of course, Old Boy is not indicative of everyday culture in Korea.
Well, that's what you think. In my world, it is.
Every day, just a whole lot of it.
I hope you're going to keep that bit in. But that's, I see it as an entry point. So like, even if it's, if it takes Yeongun Namja or this show or Old Boy or K-pop to get you interested in Korea, I think it doesn't really matter as long as people become more aware of it.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
I've heard many Korean friends say, "Oh, you went to England? I heard the food is right." Like I'm not like, no. Yeah, but it's great.
When Koreans are there, they love it. They love it all the time, and I always take them for a Sunday roast, and they're like, "Wow, this is really amazing." But they always like, "Oh, tada, it's too salty."
It's too salty. Yeah.
But that's what we like. That's what we like, guys. We like soy food.
Salt.
Do you miss gravy?
Oh, I miss
real gravy.
It's your face. Yes,
So do you cook though?
Yeah, I do cook a little bit. I don't cook a lot, I have to say, because I think Korean food is really economically easy to get out there and buy very cheaply and very good quality. But
Sure.
Especially, I'm not here with my family, so if I cook, I'm cooking for myself, and cooking for one is always.
You're not married?
Okay. No, not yet.
With all this education and employment history, and your
women lined up,
position.
he's picky now.
Oh yeah, he's picky now. Yeah, I see what it is.
He's like, nope.
I like the way you said that.
We say his eyes are high, right? In Korea.
But I think we're nearly here, aren't we? We must be very close.
Just take a right now.
Okay, so we are pulling out.
About to
I'm
pull up to the end.
I'm gonna wait.
All right, so how was it?
Fantastic. Thank you for the ride. Thank you guys. You got me here in one piece, and this ride was very smooth, so thanks to the driver.
Thank you so much.
Did you have fun?
Lots of fun. And all the YouTube viewers as well for giving those questions.
From all over the world watching our program. So
appreciate it.
We appreciate you, and before you go, we'd like you to sign our board here, which is going to be a message to BCRUZE viewers.
So I guess what I'm going to write is maybe something that is quite synonymous with Korea, but also my time in Korea, which is going to be BCRUZE.
What?
So clever.
Did you think of this on the spot?
I certainly did.
Amazing.
My message to the viewers is be dynamic, be Korea, be CRUZE.
Thank you so much.
And thanks to the viewers and everyone for having me.
Okay, we're going to sign off. Would you like to join us?
I'd love to.
Let's go
For BCRUZE.